Today, I'm going to talk about the 4% rule, why I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it as a rule. A rule of thumb, good, fine. As your plan, I think that's a bad idea. I also have found through my own study and plan creation, along with studying hundreds of other people's plans and answering questions and being their retirement coach. Did over 300 clients, if you remember. But it almost always makes you work longer. So let's take a look at this through an example. Maybe I'll convince you. Maybe you'll convince me I'm totally crazy. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. We're going into Boldin. You should be looking at my screen right now. Here's the overview screen of Boldin, formerly New Retirement. I've got two screens here, so I'm going to be going like this, looking at you, looking at my screen. This person or a family has a husband and wife has a 96% probability of success. Boldin, by the way, the first link below will give you free 2 weeks. After that, it's $120 a year. Occasionally, you can get it on sale for 96. It's kind of random when that comes up. Maybe it's there right now. I don't know. Check. But it is my retirement plan. They give me a dummy account that I'm using here just for illustration because I love this so much and I'm talking about it. So I created a little example to walk through. And let's just get into it. So let's look at this person. This is a husband and wife. Let's look at their profile. They're both 61. The husband's planning on working one more year. The spouse is already retired. You can enter rate assumptions here for general inflation, medical inflation, Social Security inflation. I'm not going to get into that. I've made other videos on that. But let's get into the meat of this. How much money they got? Okay, so this couple, they've got $900,000 in three different accounts. They have a retirement account, okay, and I'm using average returns here. I'm just going to go into one of these. So this retirement account, $550,000, 10% optimistic rate of return, 5% pessimistic over the long term. So the average is 7.5. Average is calculated for you in new retirement. So these other accounts, this brokerage account is getting 4% average. So they're kind of in some bonds. And then this high interest savings account, maybe CDs, get average rate of 3, a little bit lower. So three different risk profiles, three different accounts, and they're looking at $900,000. So they just for simplification, I have them owning their asset, their house, no payments on that. Income, they're taking, let's see, the spouse is, one person is working making $9,000 a month, working one more month. Then you get down in here, Social Security, taking Social Security at 67. See a little pop up there? I love that when you just hover over anything. They're both the same age, both taking Social Security at 67. There's a Social Security optimizer. Not going to go into that. Tax optimizer with Roth conversion. Not going into that. Not this video. There's too much to show you here. But I'm going to spend a little time here on expenses. And this is important. I've actually coached people to think about their plan a little bit different, quite a bit. I put in for my plan base living expenses. This goes through lifetime. What's it cost us to go out to eat, get at a minimal level, get food, donate, pay the electric bill, all those basic things we do. 4,200. Unplanned expenses, $200 a month. Go-go spending starts when we retire, an extra $1,000 a month. But here's what's important: the go-go spending only goes to 75. Slow-go spending starts at 75 and goes to 80, and then it reverts back to this living expenses that go out to lifetime. Unplanned expenses go to lifetime too. Another critical thing I want to highlight here is one-time expenses. So these are things that this couple knows that's going to be happening in the next 10 or so years. Hey, when they retire, want to take a big trip to Alaska, July 2026. Got a new roof going on the house in 2028. Kitchen remodel in 2030. New car in 2034 and replacement HVAC in 2039. That's only going out to 2039. That's not their whole retirement, but by 2039, that's at 75. So I think the male's mortality is 85 and the female's 94 on this from a previous exercise. Okay, so they got a lot going on. They got into some details that they didn't just have their expenses start off at 4% and then ramp up, for inflation every year, and their spending is very flat. Nobody spends like that. So I'm going to go to Insights here, and I'm going to look at income and expenses. And this chart, now this chart is a little flattened out because, it's 40 years, laying out here. But the first thing I want to draw your attention to is I can highlight each age here, and it gives me a total out to the side over here: medical, large one-time expenses, long-term care, estimated tax payments, general reoccurring. So this highlighted bar is expanded, into numbers that you can read over here. So the first thing I want you to notice is this isn't flat. I only put in a few. These green sections here are large one-time expenses. Remember that I put in there? Those all cause a little bit of a spike, okay? And in reality, there's probably going to be double. There's going to be things that happen. There's going to be weddings. There's going to be big trips. You may downsize your house. You may upsize your house. You may put in a swimming pool. There's all kinds of things you're going to do. But the first thing I want to draw your attention to, this person or this couple, they have $900,000 in assets. Well, 4% rule says they can spend $36,000 out of their nest egg, okay, out of their savings, $36,000. Well, the very first, let's go to they're working one more year. So let's come out here a little bit. They can take out $36,000. Well, the first year is 134. Well, that's because there was a one-time large expense, life. They decided they wanted to go to Alaska. I think that may have been Alaska, or the previous one was Alaska. But there was a big one-time expense in there. So 134. Where's I thought they could only take 36. Well, that's just, and this person, what did they have as I can't remember let's go back up to the 96% probability of success, and they're spending significantly more than 4% rule down in here in these expenses. Just look how high they are. These expenses are just crazy. I looked at, so first of all, $36,000 is somewhere down in here. I mean, it's less than half of what we're spending in adjusted for inflation in these first several years. The base spending for this couple, remember, base spending is just the basic lights and everything, plus the $200 unplanned maintenance, plus the $1,300 a month medical insurance they need until they turn 65. That is a 7.6 spend rate, 7.6. And a lot of you may go, 7.6. Oh, you can't do that. Well, you're not doing that for 40 years. You're only doing it for a few years until what happens? Till Social Security kicks in. Look up here in an income. This kind of beige color right here is Social Security starting to come in. Once Social Security comes in, that covers 76% of this couple's expenses. 76. So they got their income, this blue here is savings drawdown, and it's coming down fast. It's coming down fast. We'll check and see what their savings comes down to. Then Social Security comes in and takes up a huge portion of their expenditures. And then when they get into, no-go spending, beyond slow-go and go-go, it's covering a huge portion of it. Then one of them dies, and this is, increased taxes of, one person filing, and this is long-term care coming in down here. You can see on this graph, the dark color is long-term care. Well, the thing I wanted to really point out is 4% is significantly lower in this couple with a 96% probability of success. Yeah, they are drawing down very hard here, 7.6%. You add into go-go spending in the first couple of years, they're drawing down 9%. 9%. And most people would just panic at that. they're not doing 9% for 30 years. They're doing 9% till they're 67 and they start drawing Social Security. So they got 5 years of that heavy draw. Okay. 5 years of the heavy draw. And Social Security kicks in. So let's take a look at savings balances. Savings balances. Boy, it does dip down here. I think the lowest we get is $634,000. Okay, and this is when this person and their spouse are 66. One more year, Social Security kicks in, then the savings start to build. You may notice this magenta color here. That's Roth conversions. This person has like 7 or 8 Roth conversions, which also add to the tax load, which also add to not drawing down 4%. Because, hey, let's save a lot of money on taxes by paying more than 4%. And then, I basically maximized filled up the 12% tax bracket throughout their life here, and it dramatically reduced their taxes, which increased their net worth here. So this person, yeah, they got down to $600,000 here, but they were spending at one time 9%. They're just for a couple of years doing that with their go-go spending. Now, obviously, you update this once a quarter, once every 6 months. You go in here, and if the stock market crashes 50%, some things change. You may have to dial back the go-go spending, okay, during these times. You may have to do that. But look at this couple that if they would follow the 4% rule, I'm going back to income and expenses. If they were follow the 4% rule, they would say, well, we can't survive looking at our expenses that we have. To medical is 14,000, and I can only take out 36. But when you factor in all the timing of Social Security, that's why Social Security is so important to time right. To increase the asset, but not also make sure you don't bring down your savings too low. You also got a lot of these one-time expenses that cause things to spike up. You could say they're not going to happen, but you're going to replace your roof. You're going to replace your HVAC system. You may have to buy at least a used car sometime. So let me make sure I've checked my notes. So Social Security, like I said, when that kicks in, it's going to cover 76% of their expenses. Oh, and then their need from their portfolio based on $900,000. So that's not necessarily right there. It's when they're taking Social Security, it'll be a little bit less than that. But 2.9% withdrawal rate is what they have at when they're 67 of the $900,000. So they're 2.9% is a dramatic reduction. So they're drawing down high early, go spending, things going great, living life. Social Security kicks in, need from the nest egg goes down. 4% rule, that doesn't match the way this couple, and I would project on you that I don't think you're going to spend that way either. The 4% rule is great. It's nice as a guideline. I wish they called it 4% rule of thumb or 4% guideline. 4% rule just doesn't make sense. And this, when I look at Boldin and this person, 96% probability of success, this is why when people go to Boldin, use this software, they figure out they can retire 1, 2, 3, 4 years earlier and spend more money. The 4% rule is extremely conservative. If you're retiring at 40, that may make sense. If you're retiring at 62 and Social Security is 2, 3, 5 years away, 8 years away, whatever's optimized for you, I just don't see that making any sense at all. I don't think that is the way your retirement spending is going to play out. I modeled this in Boldin. I love using this software. I can come in here and I can change rates of return. I can change inflation. I can change timing of Social Security. I can go into tax planning under Roth Explorer down here. The last thing, that's the end of this video. That's why a 4% rule, I believe, my hypothesis is it causes you to spend less and work longer. But also inside of New Retirement, they have a help center here. They have where they got classroom. You got classroom. Let's let this load up. Where they have videos put on by these individuals, classes that they have, all included in your $120. It's just phenomenal. Then you a lot of videos, a lot of articles that they link in here. If walk you through putting your information in the system. If you want coaching, you click down on here. They coach you on how to use the software. That does cost money. If you want to use a financial advisor, that costs you money. But the classes are all free. There's also a help. Let's see where that is. So you hit help over here. Help session. Yeah, expertise coaching about, I can't find it here on the fly, but there's a like a little chat on here that I'm embarrassed I can't find it, but there's a chat on here if you have a specific question. Normally they're back to me within 24 hours. The weekend could be a little bit slower. During the week, definitely 24 hours. So check that out. So this is my comprehensive software package. This is why I use it. I'm telling you, if you're using the 4% rule, try this out. Try the free option with my link and input your information, and you may be shocked. You can spend a little more money, retire a little bit sooner. I get 4, 5, 6, 7 comments a day with people that have experienced that phenomenon. Anyway, all right, it's Joe out.